France have retained their Six Nations title with a thrilling victory against England on Saturday. Defence may have been optional in their last two games with over 90 points conceded, but this France team will be remembered for one thing: its attack. In fact, there is a very good case that this current French team's attack is the greatest the Six Nations has ever seen. France absolutely dominated the attacking statistics in the 2026 Men's Six Nations. On the most basic level, they scored 30 tries, which is the same number they scored in 2025. It is also a number that no other team has ever matched or beaten. Now, straight away, this probably suggests that this French team's attack is the greatest the tournament has ever seen. But if we dig even deeper into the statistics, we see that the gap between France and the rest was absolutely vast. France topped the rankings for tries, points, offloads, clean breaks, meters per carry, and total carry meters, all of which they topped by huge margins. Now, these numbers not only reveal the success of France's attack, but also explain why it was so thrilling to watch. Most of France's tries came from far out and showcased phenomenal ball handling skills and supreme athleticism. Now, a key factor in France's attack was their total mastery of the kicking game. France's kicking stats were just as dominant as their ball in hand stats. They topped the charts for kick meters and kick meters per kick. They also had by far the most kicks that bounced, which shows just how good France's kickers are at finding unmarked space in the opposition backfield. Most fascinating, though, is how France have turned retaining kicks into one of their most powerful weapons this Six Nations. If we look at the club rugby stats for this season, we see that top 14 teams are amongst the least likely to kick contestable of any clubs anywhere in the world. Now, in 2025, France retained just 17% of their kicks. And 5 of the 6 teams retained between 20 and 28 kicks in the tournament as a whole. But now, in 2026, France have retained over 25% of their kicks, or a total of 37. But it's easy to get lost in the finer details of France's amazing attack. But the most obvious reason that it is so good is the phenomenal talent they are able to call on. Wingers Louis Bielle-Biarrey and Theo Atazogbe finished 1 and 2 in the Six Nations for both tries scored and for line breaks. Meanwhile, all 4 of the top players for try involvements in the Six Nations were French. Almost every French player is worth calling out for their phenomenal attacking ability, but to my mind, there are 3 that deserve extra special praise. Now, the first of this is obviously Louis Bielle-Biarrey himself. He broke the record for the most tries in a single Six Nations campaign with 9, a record that he himself set 12 months ago. He has now scored in an unbelievable 10 consecutive Six Nations matches, also a record. In his France career so far, he is averaging over 1 try per 80 minutes. The next best player is Damien Penaud with 0.6. He also tops the stats for line breaks and attacking catches. And fascinatingly, he has the highest percentage of kicks retained too, at well over 1 in 3. Next up, Thomas Ramos. Does this man even feel pressure? When kicking that tournament-winning penalty against England, he lifted his arms in celebration just after the ball left the tee, let alone before it landed. And when you have a kicking record as good as Thomas Ramos's, you can see why he is so supremely confident. He has now finished as the Six Nations top point scorer for 4 seasons in a row. On its own, that is a new record. He had the most successful goals in the 2026 Six Nations and the best goal-kicking percentage. But he is so much more than just a goal kicker. France used Ramos as an extra fly half, and that's why his touches per 80 are so much higher than any other fullback in the competition. He finished second overall for carries, for meters made, for line break assists, and for offloads. Even when he drops the ball, he makes it look like he did it on purpose. And finally, let's now talk about French fly half Matthieu Jalibert. Now, the crowning of Matthieu Jalibert as the best attacking fly half in the Northern Hemisphere has been a long time coming. He was stuck behind Romain Ntamack for many seasons, and there were murmurings of personality clashes between him and coach Fabien Galtier. Jalibert has been unfairly cast as a 10 with talent but lacking the temperament for test match rugby. But after his performance against England, I think that myth is finally well and truly busted. Jalibert's attacking stats are quite simply on another planet to every other fly half in the competition. For instance, after 4 rounds, his combined line breaks and line break assists totaled 4.2 per 80. Just think about that for a second. One player responsible for 4 line breaks per game at Six Nations level. For context, Wales managed 4 line breaks as a whole team in their games against Scotland and Ireland combined. Jalibert topped the Six Nations for line break assists, for offloads, and for try assists. He beat 18 defenders in total, 9 of which were against England in the final game, and he was also the key man behind France's superb kicking game. He topped the tournament stats for kicks bounced and was second for kicks retained percentage. And on that subject, there was a lot of chat before the Six Nations about whether or not Jalibert and Dupont could even play together. Some argued that Jalibert could not work effectively with the supernova that is Antoine Dupont. But not only did he work with the supernova, in my opinion, he outshone him. Matthieu Jalibert makes rugby look like art. So I hope you found this video, if nothing else, thought-provoking. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, drop a comment below, share a link with a friend if you like. Enjoy your rugby, and I hope that everybody's team wins. Cheers.